boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
If anyone can remember me several times talking about head movement, boxing fans love talking about he doesn't move his head, he doesn't move his head. Well, it's not always head movement. It's foot movement too. And Dave Allen was explaining he was struggling with the weight he came in the second Johnny Fisher fight. He said he could feel the weight. And he said rather than exhausting himself trying to be evasive, getting out of the way of Johnny's punches with his feet, he opted to brace himself for the impact of the punches with his gloves up high. And I have said that sometimes people underestimate how hard it is to move your head in a boxing ring. These things are not easy to do. It's easy to do it in front of a mirror, but when a coach is slowly pushing the mitts at you so you can simulate head movement like you're in an actual fight. But when actual punches are thrown, Dave said he opted to brace himself to take the punches than tire himself out with all that defense. Now, long term, it's going to catch up to you. But short term, people resort to type. All that muscle memory it takes to move your head and to move your feet properly. It's specialist skills. Boxing on the retreat, or as they used to call it in the UK, milling on the retreat, has been mocked and ridiculed by boxing fans, screaming, that fight is boring, this is boring, we can't have this. It goes against human instinct to fight on your back foot. Now, I know you're going to say, well, it's boring. We're not talking about that right now. It's two different debates. But somebody or some bodies, probably in the 17th century, a bare knuckle fighter, looked at the shape of bare knuckle fighting. He looked at it and said, I'm not just going to wade in like the other pugs do. I can still land the blows in ratio to what he's able to land on me without getting hit so much with my footwork. And then it became a thing. But it is the science. It's an important part of the science. Just like I was talking about showboating when I was discussing alloys. Showboating is part of the science. This is all part of the science. I saw Moses Itauma with that was it the last right hook he landed? Check hook. His balance, his dexterity and his hand speed on the eye test is amongst the best we've seen from British heavyweights. He actually landed the punch while he was going backwards. Early when I started the channel, one of my videos was breaking down David Haye versus Derek Chisora. And I was using footage, and I used a sequence from David Haye knocking down John Ruiz, similar to how Muhammad Ali knocked down Cleveland Williams. Haye was moving backwards, and with little effort, he threw this right hand that floored John Ruiz. David Haye did have special skills, special ability, and Moses has special ability. Complex young man to understand. You know, like he accused the interviewer post-fight of trying to get a headline out of him by leading him somewhere with his line of questioning. It's going to be interesting how his relationship with the press, media, and fans plays out. It's more interesting to see what he's doing in the ring. I'll tell you that now. So what we learned, he had two ways of beating this guy here who wasn't top-notch, the American. First round, after a brief stint of feinting, a lot of fencing, working on their foot placement, both men, Moses went after the guy with his left hands, and he hurt him with the first big left he threw, the backhand. Then he followed up. Another left hand had him hurt. There was another follow-up left hand which didn't look like it landed cleanly, but Mike was in trouble and he went down. Second round, looks like he switched up strategy. Maybe he spoke to Ben Davison. I didn't hear the dialogue in the corner. But he changed up. I can go after him and knock him out with a left. But now I'm going to counter punch and walk him into right hands, which he done twice and got him out of there. Now, let's face it, the 41-year-old Balugon was brought in there for the purpose of making Moses look good. And Moses did look good. And they're calling now for Moses to fight Bacoli, do this, do that, do this, do that. They're at the DJ booth making requests. We want to hear this song. We want to hear that song. And it's understandable. His career leads to lengthy boxing discussion. And it should. And I've got nothing against the Bacoli fight or anyone they choose to fight. I've got nothing against anyone they choose to fight. But they mustn't do requests from the fans or the media. The media and us, the boxing fans, should not be invited to that party yet. We'll get our time. When the board call you up to fight an eliminator for British titles, when you win British, European, Commonwealth, and your mandatories come up, or we're looking through the top 10 and say, yeah, that'd be a good opponent for Moses, then we, the boxing fans and media, get to have our party and start selecting who you're supposed to fight. Frank Warren has to relinquish power of the matchmaking process, even though the promoters never relinquished the power totally. But the rankings and the media and the fans are now suggesting the fights that will define your career. And if you don't take them, it will be logged down in history that you ducked, and you didn't do. Or maybe you did succeed, and you did become a great fighter because you took the challenges. But we'll see. But right now, Frank Warren and Ben Davison especially, who should be vetting, approving, and vetoing everybody Moses Itauma fights at this stage while Moses is a prospect. That's the professional thing to do. That's the traditional way that guys like Jim Jacobs have did it. If you think you know more than your promoters and your matchmakers and your trainers, I would advise most young fighters that you're making a mistake. I've told pro fighters on the channel, most fighters will not punch their way to the top in modern day boxing with their talent alone. It's not going to work. If you go to all your contemporary best fighters, and for some of you who are saying Beats is promoting the idea that prospects shouldn't test themselves. No one said they shouldn't test themselves. I'm talking about contemporary boxing. If you don't think the likes of Angelo Dundee didn't vet all Sugar Ray Leonard's opponents, then you're wrong. Angelo told them, I will take the job on the proviso that I vet all his opponents. I vet them. No one else. And Angelo was good at his job. When Angelo was on holiday, they tried to make the Tommy Hearns fight with Sugar Ray Leonard in 1979. It was all but signed. Angelo came back from holiday. Are you crazy? You gonna make this fight now? And he stopped the fight. He said, Ray's not ready yet. When the fight's supposed to be made, it will be made. And they'll make twice as much money than they're going to make now. That was around 1979, he said that. And they fought in 81. Ray Leonard took a record purse of $8 million. First time that a fighter outside the heavyweight division had earned a purse like that. Highest purse in boxing history at the time. Ray stopped Tommy in an absolute classic. Anyone around my age who's a big boxing fan, this is one of the fights that would have got you addicted to the sport. What a fight that was. People like Angelo Dundee, Mickey Duff, Frank Warren, when he had Ernie Fossey and Dean Powell. People know what they're doing. Bob Arum, he knows what he's doing. Barry Hearn, Eddie, they know what they're doing. Don't always get it right. They know what they're doing. Stay in control of the matchmaking. Do not do song requests. This ain't a DJ booth at some dodgy disco. I understand why the fans and the media are demanding they want to see Moses in this fight. They want to see him fight this guy. I understand that. But he's only 12-0. 20 years of age. I've got nothing against the Bacoli fight. I repeat, I don't care if they fight Ajit Cabello, to be honest. I don't care. I'm just saying it's got to be their decision. Moses ranked number 1 by the WBO. Not ranked by the WBC, but ranked number 3 by the WBA and number 7 with the IBF. They were talking about matching him up with Justice Hooney. Hooney could have had the fight that Mike Balugon just had with Moses, but Hooney stepped in at late notice and will be facing Fabio Wardley. A couple of weeks away, actually. Now, even I've got to take in consideration with the lofty ranking positions he has. The fans, rightly so, and the media are going to be demanding you justify the high ranking position. They won't be able to keep him on the leash too long anyway. They won't be able to keep him on the leash. But while they can, they should try and keep him active. Don't wait around for a big name to sign a contract to the fight. Get him back in there ASAP. Ideally, if they could get him on the June the 7th card at Portman Road where Fabio's headlining, that'd be great. Yeah, get him another guy to punch up.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Okay, there was a bit of controversy, and it's a good thing I looked for a little extra context to what happened. There's a video of Josh Taylor slapping Sonny Edwards. And it was hard to tell if he was slapping him in his face or his hand, but he slapped him in his hand actually. Sonny was in Lee McGregor's corner, Saturday gone, when Lee fought Nathaniel Collins. So that's cleared up. He slapped him on the hand. I guess it's the way he did it. Josh is a strange guy, innit? Like sometimes he can just come over extremely pissed off. Like many fighters, Josh Taylor believed by not having the burden of tough weight cuts, jumping up a division would be the solution to his recent dip in form. But now for the second time, he's been beaten by domestic opposition. First time Jack Catterall arguably beat him twice. And now Ekow Essuman, who is a very good fighter, but a very good domestic level fighter. But this is the biggest win of Essuman's career. And he would definitely rise higher than the number 14 ranking he has with the WBA. And he's currently ranked number 5 with the WBO. Ekow is coming off a unanimous decision win against Josh Taylor in Josh's backyard. Josh left the ring in disbelief, didn't do any interviews, didn't acknowledge the fans, and then later he said, the support I've received and have had in the last 10 years, the atmosphere they create in the Hydro, it means the world to me. The support they give me, how they make me feel when I accomplish things. I just want to take the opportunity to apologize for doing that. I didn't want to say anything live on TV that I may end up regretting. Josh had issue with the scorecards. He congratulated Ekow. He said he fought a great fight, but I didn't see anywhere where he said he thought he actually won the fight. He said he'd love a rematch. And if Frank's going to pay Ekow what a rematch is worth to Ekow, then fair enough. But I don't think Frank's going to pay out for that. Josh has lost 3 on the bounce now. Arguably 4. But for the record books, 3 on the bounce. This was supposed to be the new beginning at 147 with Frank Warren. He boxed well early, using his reach, his double jab effectively. But Ekow was always in contention. And even though Josh had his left hand up high, Ekow was landing that right hook, sneaking it around the high guard. And even though Josh was banking some of them earlier rounds, he always looked susceptible to that counter right hand. And even the rounds he won early were competitive rounds. Ekow said he remembered some things from when he sparred Josh a long time ago at Team GB, and he said he was able to put them into action. He said he's been the B side and been the away corner, been to the Lion's Den. He said he wants to take the engine on tour to America for a world title shot now. He's just beaten a former undisputed world champion, so he wants to be on the world stage. Like I said, Josh started well with that double jab, and he went to Ekow's body. But when Ekow returned fire to Josh Taylor's body, and when the action became relentless, Josh started to fade. In the 4th, Essuman was wobbled by a left hand, but he staggered Josh with a right hand himself in the 4th, which was the pivotal round in my opinion, where the tide swung in Ekow's favour. How many rounds did Josh really win after that 4th? Not many is what I would suggest. A cut from a head clash appeared in round 7. Taylor appeared to have the look of someone who didn't have much in the gas tank. He told his corner, I don't have much left. Paraphrasing. Ekow dominated the championship rounds. Absolutely dominated. Josh got away with a lot of holding, and the referee didn't warn or caution him not one time. Josh was reduced to flurrying back with a jab that had nothing on it, with punches that had no real snap or oomph. He couldn't push Ekow on his back foot for long enough periods. Essuman, a career welterweight, was bullying Josh, never hurting him badly enough to stop him, but he was bullying Josh, and Josh was very uncomfortable taking them big body shots and them big head shots. Josh's punch count in the second half of the fight went down dramatically, and he was just trying to survive in there. But it was a competitive fight, but Ekow's aggression put Josh firmly in his place. The reaction to the fight was like we witnessed a big upset. I predicted this was going to be a controversial decision, so it's not a big upset to me. I was more shocked that Ekow got a UD in Glasgow, even though I thought he won clearly. I was more shocked that they gave him his just due. Ekow is now 22-1 with 8 inside the distance. Josh Taylor is now 19-3-0 with 13 inside the distance. Ekow has now won his last 3. Somehow Josh and Ekow are billed the same height when Josh is clearly taller. Ekow's nickname is the Engine. And although at some times I thought he was letting Josh off the hook, he paced his fight very well on reflection. And despite him being older than Josh, He's 36, Josh is 34. You have the feeling Ekow, while he may not have had the talent that Josh did, that took Josh to undisputed, Ekow has probably lived the more exemplary existence as an athlete. The results you can see in his physique. Josh's own words after he became undisputed, defeating Jose Ramirez in Las Vegas in 2021. I ate too much good tasting food, too many pizzas, Chinese, and takeaways. I drank too much beer. That's what led to the Jack Catterall and Teofimo Lopez performances where he lost the last of his belts. That's another debate, how he lost all of them belts outside the ring. Aside from the WBO one, he surrendered to Teo. That's another debate. But he's saying it here. He took his eye off the ball and lost self-control. I'm guessing that, the hard training camps, the hard fights, the tough weight cuts have caught Josh up at 34. Big up Ekow Essuman. Big up Josh Taylor. A great British fighter. One of the best we've produced. And he put on a good battle today. He's just a faded force. We salute Josh Taylor, whether he returns to the ring or not. Ekow Essuman, he was talking about world titles and going over to America to fight for them. He's talking about the likes of Brian Norman Jr. and Boots and Barrios. Well, Barrios is tied up with Pacquiao. I'd like Ekow's chances with Barrios probably more than the hard-punching Brian Norman Jr. and not at all with Boots. I don't see what he could do with Boots, except take a pasting. But he'd give it his all. Ekow, however, could be described as a overachiever. Someone who is underestimated, beating the likes of Chris Kongo, Owen Cooper, undefeated Ben Vaughn, and now Josh Taylor. You get the impression Ekow has left no stone unturned in preparing for his best wins, defeating the likes of Cedric Payernord without the struggles that Conor Benn had with said opponent. He's been British and Commonwealth champion, defended the British title at least 5 or 6 times. His nickname is The Engine. He didn't just rely on talent. He came in the best physical shape he possibly could. And it's paid dividends against Josh Taylor, who perhaps is the antithesis of what Ekow represents in terms of discipline. And Frank needs to get Ekow some big fights right now as a result.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.